Hey folks, welcome to another edition of My Car Guru. I'm kind of in a debunking mood. I've been doing that a lot lately. People walk up to me and say, well, something like, you think I need new tires, Lenny? I don't know, let's go look. We'll go look at them. And no, they don't need new tires now. They needed them a year ago. I was driving to work this morning. It was very cold. My windshield wipers were stuck to the windshield. So I finally broke them loose, and I'm driving to work, and I said, I got to get new windshield wiper inserts, not wiper blades. Inserts, that's what it's called. That's what wipes your windshield. How long do they last? Not as long as you think. That's something else I have to debunk. I mean, I have been told by many mechanics that you need to change your windshield wiper blades 2 times a year. Coming out of winter and coming out of summer, because they wear down. They're rubber, and, depending on how often they're used, they take quite a beating, back and forth and back and forth. And all the stuff that they wipe off of our windshields, I mean, it's a tough job. So my rule is once a year. And I've had my F-150 a year and a half. Have I changed my wiper inserts yet? No, I have not, but I'm doing it today. I know it's just going into winter, but I want to be ready. So that's the kind of thing that I debunk. I know those seem trivial maybe to you, but if those wiper inserts, if they wear all the way down and it gets to the point where you have part of the metal of your windshield wiper arm touching your windshield, you will cut quite the little, what would you call that, semicircular groove into your windshield. And you don't want that to happen. If you see pieces of rubber just kind of flapping around, it's probably a good indicator that you need to change them. But I would go ahead and do it now before the winter gets too bad. We still have plenty of time. And just make sure that when you turn on your windshield wipers, that they are not frozen solid to the windshield, because you could damage your windshield wiper motor. Also, your power window motors. They can actually burn out if they're tugging on a side window that's frozen to the weather stripping on your door. So don't do that either. Let the interior of the car heat up a little bit so they have a chance. Okay, let's debunk a few more things. This one's a little bit more serious. Is there such a thing as a lifetime warranty? Well, I certainly hope so, because we offer that on every new Ford and every new Nissan that we sell. It's a lifetime powertrain warranty. Okay, what's that, Lenny? Powertrain. That's basically your engine and all its internal parts, not external parts, just internal. Your transmission and its internal parts, your drive axle, and that's about it. Anything that's bathed in oil or transmission fluid. So if you were to have a failure and you have 300,000 miles on it, as long as the defect is due to materials or workmanship, it's covered. If it's normal, everyday wear and tear, it's not. So does a lifetime powertrain warranty sound better than it is? Well, kinda. It kinda does. But, if you have something with 150,000 miles on it and a rod breaks or a ring gives out, some internal part in the engine breaks, and it wasn't due to the lack of maintenance, then it's going to be covered. But if it's because of a lack of maintenance, it's not going to be covered. A lot of people say, well, how are they going to know if I change my oil? Trust me. These people that come in and inspect these things, if they're having to replace a $12,000 engine, they know. They know what it looks like. It's just like you go to the doctor and somebody dies and they do an autopsy. They can look in there and say, well, this person was a smoker, or this person ate too many fatty foods, too high cholesterol. They can tell. There are telltale signs. And, of course, the general public, they think, well, there's no way they could say. Yeah, they can. So the key to that is just to follow your maintenance schedule. Although sometimes you can follow the maintenance schedule and something will break. Just like it did on that 2022 Toyota Highlander I was talking about the other day. Just 70,000 miles on it. and something broke on the inside. We didn't tear the engine down. It didn't really matter. I mean, it was locked up. We had to replace the engine. I ended up paying for it. It was out of warranty, and the people bought it as is with no warranty. But I stepped up to the plate because they'd only owned it for 2 weeks. And more than likely, it would have failed if I'd kept it. If somebody had been out on a test drive, it would have failed. It would have started knocking, just like it did with the customer. So we had to step up and fix it. We put their replacement engine in it this past weekend. And hopefully they will be happy about that. But you would think that the wonderful Toyota company would have stepped up and replaced that engine, but they denied the claim. They said they would have paid for it if it was still in the hands of the original owner, because they had maintained it faithfully at a Toyota dealership near us. And we were told that Toyota would have paid for it. But because the vehicle was traded into us on a new Nissan Pathfinder, we turned around and sold that vehicle within 2 weeks to somebody else. And then within that 2 weeks, the engine locked up. Nope, they're not covering it. So I guess their warranty was on the people, not on their product. And that's kind of the way it is with these lifetime powertrain warranties. Let's say that 10 years from now, you still have that warranty in place and you decide to sell that vehicle to a friend. He's not covered, just you. And that's the way those lifetime warranties work. You know, if they call it a lifetime warranty, that sounds a little bit more complete than a lifetime powertrain warranty. But you need to ask the dealership that you're shopping at. When you say lifetime, tell me exactly what you mean. Could I see the policy and see what's covered? Because all lifetime warranties are not created equal. It all depends on, what the document says. Just because somebody says, hey, this has a lifetime warranty or a lifetime powertrain warranty, you better read it and find out who's backing it up. Now, do automakers like Ford, Honda, Toyota, do they offer lifetime powertrain warranties? No, they sure don't. Those are typically only offered by insurance companies. Now, the one we offer is by an A-plus rated multi-billion-dollar insurance company called Assurant. So I'm pretty sure that you can be certain that the claims will be paid if it's not due to some fault of your own. And that's important to understand. And when I come back, I'm going to talk about an interesting financing analysis that you should do if you're thinking about paying cash for a vehicle as opposed to taking advantage of extremely low interest rates. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, I am back. Now this is the kind of thing that a lot of people don't think about doing. They take the simplistic approach. What seems obvious is not always very obvious. Here's the example. Let's say that you have $40,000 in the bank. Well, hopefully you have a lot more than that, but you've saved that much specifically to buy a new vehicle. And let's say, okay, the bank is not going to pay much more than probably what, 3.5% to 4.5% now. But let's say you put it in a, Charles Schwab account, something that's tied to the stock market, and it's been really going crazy lately, and you could earn a lot more than 10%. But let's just say that over a 5-year period, you average 10% return. So instead of taking the $40,000 out of the account, you go and finance a car, $40,000 vehicle, and you do it for the same 5 years at 0%. And then take out each monthly payment out of that money market account. How much will the gain be at the end of 5 years? And a lot of people say, well, you're taking all the money out. No, you're just taking out each monthly payment. So you're just drawing it down slowly, almost like an annuity. So what they call this is an arbitrage, arbitrage style question. And the math works strongly in your favor if you decide to leave the money in the money market account. So the way this works is at the end, you end up with no car debt. The car's paid off, and you still have $14,050 in savings. So your net gain is about $14,000, and that's real profit, not paper profit. 0% financing, you get the free use of money. 10% return, that money is working for you while you spend it. Now, if you had just paid for the car, then at the end of 5 years, you have a car that's depreciated. Which would you rather have, just the car or $14,050 and the car? I think I'll take the $14,000. Now, let's say you can't earn 10%. You only earn 5%. You're still going to gain $6,000. If you get 7%, you're going to gain $9,500. So it works at lower interest rates as well. So this is something that people need to do to analyze it. The excuse I hear for not doing it most often is, I don't want to make monthly payments. And you really don't have to. You just have the money drafted out of your account. And then you'll never know the difference. I just bought a new vehicle for my wife, financed it through Wells Fargo. I'm not going to make monthly payments. It's coming out of my bank account every month. I don't have to write anybody a check or remember it or end up accidentally being late on a payment or whatever. I just set it up to where it comes out automatically, and then I don't have to worry about it. So that's a good way to keep your credit pure. If you're never late, you never miss a beat, then it's just going to drive up your credit score and even lower your cost of borrowing money over time, the next time you need a loan. Now, you can't get better than 0, but just keep in mind that most car deals right now, especially at the end of the year or any time during the year, they don't offer 0 unless they take something away. Normally, they'll have a pretty large rebate alternative to the 0% financing, so you have to take that into account as well. Okay, let's see. I had another myth buster. I always wondered why they measure tire depth, tread depth. I know you lay awake at night wondering this same thing. Why do they measure tread depth in 30/2 of an inch? I mean, it keeps me awake at night. No, it really doesn't. But Bill Meade, who used to be my co-host on this program, I would say, Bill, your tires are officially, by law, worn out at 2/32 of an inch. And he would always look at me and say, "You mean 1/16?" And I say, "Yes, Bill, it's the same, but 2/32 is the way it's measured. So quit arguing with me." Well, why is it measured in 30/2 of an inch? And so I wanted to straighten him out. And plus, I wanted to get some sleep. Okay, so tires and wheels and most automotive standards in the U.S. were developed when there was a lot of mechanical machining. It dominated manufacturing. We didn't use computerized measuring like we do now, lasers and all that. And fractional inches were the norm, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/8, 1/32, and so forth. So measurement tools, calipers, depth gauges, they were already standardized in these binary fractions. Using 30 seconds fits perfectly into this system. It's easy to divide. Even Bill Meade can do it. Easy to read on simple gauges and consistent with other automotive measurements. So there's your baseline explanation. Now, let's just look at it realistically. 1/16 of an inch, according to the tire experts, is too coarse. It misses important wear. 1/64 of an inch is too fine. And so it's unnecessary precision. 1/32 hits the sweet spot. It's precise enough to track wear and simple enough for technicians and consumers. So a new tire is going to be anywhere from 10 to 12 30-seconds. The legal minimum in the United States. Now, you can't even sell a tire this way. People do. There's a lot of used tires sold with a little bit of tread. But if it's under 2/32, it's illegal to sell a tire in the United States. Snow traction drops dramatically at anything below 6/32. Wet traction degrades noticeably below 4/32. So those thresholds fit pretty neatly in 30/2 of an inch. So that's why it is. So I've got a tread depth gauge right here. You should have one. They're cheap. You can get them in any tire store. Well, maybe not tire store, but maybe an auto parts store. But it shows me exactly what my tread depth is. And when you're measuring tread depth, you go all the way across the tire and take several measurements. one on the outside of the tread, one in the middle, and one on the inside of the tread. And if you get any of those, especially on the inside, that are less than 2/30 seconds, less than if you can stick a penny, put it has Lincoln on it, and stick it down in the tire with Lincoln's head pointing down. If you can't see the top of his head, you're okay. If you can see the top of his head, you're less than 2/30 seconds of an inch. Wasn't that convenient for the U.S. Mint to make pennies that you could use to measure tread depth on tires? That was so nice of them. So if you are going into winter and you have less than 6/30 seconds of an inch, you're probably going to do a lot of slipping and sliding around. You can put snow tires on the back if you're a rear-wheel drive vehicle. If you're a front-wheel drive vehicle, you need to put them on the front. If you're an all-wheel drive vehicle, it really doesn't matter because you can go just about anywhere you want to go as long as you have adequate tread depth and proper inflation in your tires. Some people actually put more air in their tires because they think it'll get them better gas mileage. And it might help a little bit, but it'll also cause their tires to wear more in the center of the tread. It's best to just go buy the little sticker in your door jamb, driver's side door. It tells you how much air is supposed to be in your tires. And if you go too far below that, then your tire pressure warning light will come on your dash, unless you have it covered up with pictures of your grandchildren or children. In that case, you won't know. And then also check the age on your tires. You want to know how to do that? Well, just get down on your hands and knees, and you will find the letters D-O-T. And then you'll see a series of numbers, and there'll be a couple of numbers at the very end. And those numbers are the year. The first numbers are the year that the tires were made. And then the second number is the week of that year that those tires were made. And if they're over 7 years old, you should replace your tires. That's just because, we've talked about that. Rubber ages, and they develop cracks and weak spots in the tread. Sometimes you will see a bubble or a little bump develop on the outside of the tire, not on the tread. You'll never see it. If that happens, you'll feel it when you're going down the road. But it will be on the sidewall of the tire, and you'll feel these little irregular bumps, and it's probably because your tires are aged out and very subject to blowing out at the worst possible time. So if your tires are more than 7 years old and the tread depth is less than 2/30 seconds, you are past due for new tires. Now, there are a lot of tire deals out there right now. As a Ford dealer, we have a great deal. I think let's see, what is it? You buy Ford tires and you'll get $150 back plus a no-charge four-wheel alignment. I think that's their deal, which is very good because Ford has great buying power, and we were able to get tires from them at the same price that they buy them for, and we can pass those savings on to people who buy them from us. So that's a pretty good deal. No, that's a real good deal. But your dealer may have a really good deal on tires as well. Just the important thing, it's not where you buy them, it's that you buy them when you need them. That's the most important thing. I mean, just think if your tread depth is too thin. It's not a problem just driving straight down a dry road. But when it rains, when it's really cold, when you're driving too fast, going around curves, or if you have to panic stop, somebody is stopped all of a sudden in a road and you have to slam on your brakes. If you don't have enough tread depth, that could increase your stopping distance and could end up in their trunk. That's one of the things I just don't mess with. Brakes and tires. If I can steer and stop, I can avoid 90% of all accidents. The rest of them, it's out of my hands. It's out of your hands. Okay, I'll take my last break. I'll be back here in just a minute. I just got an interesting message from a listener. It says, "Hi, I've been listening to your podcast and got the episode where you mentioned racing out to you to see what my trade-in would be worth. They offered their 17 digit. I didn't count the digits, but their VIN number. They say it's a tan 2011 Jeep Wrangler, unlimited, hardtop, in good condition for its age. I've always kept it clean, recently replaced the windshield, but soon it will need new tires. It's a one owner, me. The check engine light is on, which is not great, for the exhaust system, and there's a minor scratch on the driver's side above the rear tire cover. I'm located in Houston, Texas, or else I'd be coming to your dealership, and I appreciate that so much. So this is very helpful to have this kind of information. I'm probably going to need a little bit more in order to peg it exactly as far as value, but this is what I do. In addition to giving just regular advice on buying, selling, trading, getting automotive service, if you need any specific things, you just send me your information to my cell phone, which this person did, 423-552-2020, or send me an email to lennylawson2020@gmail.com, or send me your email address and I'll forward you a copy of the My Car Guru guidebook, which is like your defense against a bad car deal. It's 32 pages long and it's free. So send me your email address and I'll send you a copy. Well, thanks for listening to this edition of My Car Guru, and I'll see you next time.